Tonight we're going to be taking a look at the DEF pipe. The DEF pipe is between the DPF outlet and the SCR inlet, and this is it right here, part of it anyway. And it's a straight pipe. Typically it's clamped on both sides. It has a mounting pad on it to bolt the DEF injector to, and then inside it has a diffuser plate, and you got to make sure that plate is not gone or broken up. And here's what that diffuser plate looks like. And there's a few different styles of diffuser plate depending on the engine, its exhaust volume, its horsepower rating, but you get the idea. All that's got to be there. And if it's not, you have to replace that pipe. Now, if you pull off your DEF pipe and you see this inside where it looks like it's got a light coating of snow, that's not a problem. Even if it's built up around the pipe, it's really not a problem. If you had trouble with the injector and there's a lot of it in there, you can either take the pipe off and wash it out with hot water. That'll dissolve it. Or you can do a stationary regen if it's not too bad, and that will basically vaporize it. Well, one day one of our drivers came in and he said, "Look at my stacks." And his stacks had a white coating on them on the outside and the inside that you would typically see around Christmas when people spray that snow on their windows, that white snow that you have to scrape off with a razor. So we saw that, and he said, "I'm using DEF like it's going out of style." So he had a fault code in the ECM, and the fault code basically said that the maximum allowed amount of DEF was being injected and it couldn't inject anymore. So we got in a creeper and rolled under the truck, and this is what we saw. He had a bad leak in the DEF pipe, and that thing was just pouring the DEF out to compensate and keep the SCR NOx within limits so he didn't get derated with NOx issues. So in his case, the pipe was actually cracked at the flange, and that's why that was leaking so bad, and we had to replace the Decomp pipe. And they aren't cheap. If I remember right, the pipe was around $650. As always in life, things go wrong. So this is the inside of a DEF pipe. You can see that swirl plate behind that giant mass of DEF. And in this case, the injector went bad and it was spitting instead of spraying. And then the system wasn't seeing NOx reduce, so it maxed out the amount of DEF being sprayed by the injector, and it basically turned into this giant lump. If people idle excessively, sometimes you'll see this as well. So the problem with this is, if you say you idle for a few days and you've got a lump like this in your pipe, and then you take off and you're driving in town and your exhaust doesn't get that hot, if your exhaust gets between 500 and 700 degrees, but really not much hotter, say 550 and 720, but not much hotter, and it stays like that for a few hours, that DEF will turn into some kind of a crystalline state, and then even a regen won't burn it out. And the only way to get it out is take it out and steam the pipe out with boiling steamer water, or chip it out, and then that's the only time that lump becomes a problem. But normally, even if you see that, once you fix the problem, you can do a stationary regen. It'll clean it out. If I have the pipe off and I see that, I'm just going to get hot water, a pressure washer, whatever, and I'm going to clean that out of that pipe as clean as I can. Remember, if that's in your DEF pipe, you're going to have that in your SCR brick too. So if you see that and you fix whatever the cause of it was, you do need to do, I would do 2 stationary regens in a row, or if your engine's new enough to have the SCR system test, do that, because that sends an enormous amount of heat through the SCR brick at high flow to burn that out of there. And then once you do that, you're good to go again. And that's the DEF pipe. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.